Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Marco Collective Gamer CG77 or Marco CG77. Today we are rolling on through a King of Fighters 2002 overview, also developed by Eolith. And I am actually surprised. I completely forgot that KOF 2002 was developed by Eolith. I honestly thought they just did 2001 and King of Fighters 11. So I do apologize for that. It was also developed by Ignition Entertainment when they translated it over to the PS2 and Xbox. .emu did it when they published it over to Humble Bundle and GOG. And of course, recently Hamster Corporation did their kind of developing publishing to make it compatible with the Sony PS4, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. This game was originally released in the arcades on the MVS system back in October of 2002. Of course, this game has been released, as I just mentioned, the arcade, the Neo Geo AES, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, the Xbox, PlayStation Network, Microsoft Windows, the Neo Geo Mini, of course, also the Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, the MVS Unico, and the Nintendo Switch, as I mentioned. And for this ninth game in the series, the King of Fighters series, King of Fighters 2002, this is basically the vanilla arcade version, not the new Ultimate Match, which can be found on Steam, of course, PlayStation, and the Xbox Network as well. The wonderful thing about the newest versions is that they did receive rollback netcode, and of course, better balancing as well compared to this original release. Much like King of Fighters 98, this game is definitely more of an ultimate or a dream match, which has basically brings back a lot of the characters from previous games in the storylines, where none of the actual storyline is affected as this is non-canonical. So this will of course include killed off characters or characters no longer in the series. It was released for the Dreamcast. They also added two extra characters that weren't in this original arcade version, which had King and Shingo Yabuki. The PlayStation 2 version included Orochi Yori, Gonitz, and Geese Howard. Of course, this game is a dream match, and once again produced by Eolith. King of Fighters 2002 does gain quite a bit of improvement based from 99, 2000, and 2001. And again, I do apologize for Eolith. I completely forgot they developed this. I thought it was already SNK Playmore, and they did a wonderful job. With the NES storyline of finishing up in 2001, they were able to do this dream match, which is definitely one of my favorites, especially if you do pick up one of the more recent releases with the 2002 Ultimate Match. So, of course, this game does include characters that may be dead in the King of Fighters storyline, hence being the dream match. You do see a return of characters like Yashiro, Chris, and Shermie, otherwise known as the Orochi team. Of course, Vice and Mature also return, and even new characters like Angel, Mei Li, who was introduced in 2001, Kula, K Quad 9, and of course, K as well. Rugal does return as the final boss, and there's also some new pieces to the game, like hidden super desperation moves or max 2 moves. They're a bit more complex and do a ton more damage than the desperation moves in the past. The game also includes some new changes to the gameplay itself. Things like the free cancel system, the max mode system, quick emergency evasion, and the quick max mode activation is also there as well, which does change some of the character's special and desperation moves. The max mode is very similar to the older games. It does enable free cancels, it also halves the damage done at the cost while of course it's being activated, and one of the biggest changes are the included hidden super desperation moves. These desperation moves can use all three of the stocks once you're below a certain threshold in your hit points or your life bar. Other changes are the allocations of both your normal desperation and super desperation moves. Now, not every character or every desperation move has that alternate hidden super. Again, they are basically hidden for most pieces. To pretty much activate them, it's either AC or BD. And with this being a dream match, most of the characters that return are primarily from the NES saga, except of course for the Orochi team. They did include one additional character, and basically Kusanagi, who is basically a secret sub-boss, is a clone of Kyo that moves like his King of Fighters 94/95, somewhat also similar to the EX Kyo that was in King of Fighters 98 or Ultimate Match. And in the 2002 roster, you have got the King of Fighters 99 team, which is K, Maxima, and Whip. The Japan team, also known as the Kyo team, Kyo Kusanagi, Benimaru Nikaido, Goro Diamond. Fatal Fury team with Terry and Andy Bogart, along with Joe Higashi. The Art of Fighting team with Ryo Sakazaki, Robert Garcia, and Takuma Sakazaki. The Ikari Warriors team, Leona Hydern, Ralph Jones, and Clark Still. There is an alternate hidden version of Orochi Leona as well. The Psycho Soldier team does have Athena Asamiya, Sei Kensu, and Shin Gensao. The women's fighting team includes Mai Shiranui, Yuri Sakazaki, and Meili Jinju. The Korean Justice team pretty much stays the same with Kim Kaphwan, Chang Gohan, and Choi Bunji. The King of Fighters 90 team, or the Orochi team, which includes Yashio Nanakase, Shermie, and Chris. The Yagami team with Yori Yagami, Mature, and Vice. The King of Fighters 97 team, which could be Ryoji Yamazaki, Blue Mary, or Billy Kane. King of Fighters team, which would include Vanessa, Seth, and Ramon. There are also some alternates, like the Awakened Orochi team, with Orochi Yashiro, Orochi Shermie, Orochi Chris. The mid boss is, as far as team, is the King of Fighters 2001 team, with Kula Diamond, K Quad 9, and Angel. The mid boss solo character is Kusanagi, boss still Omega Rugal, who completely kicked my butt. And exclusive to the later consoles are Shingo Yabuki, King, Geese Howard, Gonitz, and Orochi Yori. And for the stages, you've got, of course, the Japan stage, which is taking place in the garden of the Ryoanji Temple, based in Tokyo. For Korea, basically next to a boat in front of a 63 building on the Hangang Railway Bridge. And in China stage, you basically have a kind of a fighting stage next to Nanhu Garden and the Quanfu Temple in the city of Kunshan. In Holland, it's near the village of Sans and in the city of Zandam. Cambodia, this takes place next to the Angkor Wat Temple. Mexico, it's taking place in the city of Teotihuacan, and I'm pretty sure I slaughtered that. The mid boss stage is based out in Italy, next to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The NES stage, of course, is here in the arcade version, and it's pretty fairly dark stage. Of course, you have the airship with the last boss itself when you fight Omega Rugal. Now, if you were playing this on the PS2 or the Xbox, the background stages are actually all remodeled in 3D, though you could play with the 2D versions if you went to the options menu. And also for the PS2 and Xbox version, the NES team or the Kusanagi slash Omega Rugal stages look very different. And of course, due to some legal problems and copyright issues, this game is the last time you will see K Quad 9 in the game, except for, of course, he is now coming up in King of Fighters 15 as Kronig. Of course, in this series of games, K Quad 9 has more than just a passing resemblance to Tetsuo from the movie Akira. And if you are playing this game on either the Neo Geo MVS or AES system, you can actually unlock Kusanagi, the hidden sub-boss, or single character sub-boss, by going to the character select screen, head over to Kyo, and then press up down, right left, down up, left right. Now, if you did it correctly, the portrait will change to Kusanagi's darker color, and you'll be able to play as him. And as a fan of this game, this is definitely a original game series on the Neo Geo MVS, AES, or even the Nintendo Switch, where you have the original arcade version ROM playable thanks to ASA Hamster Corporation that actually plays very well. This actually has quite a good number of soundtracks um, that are really one of my favorites. Of course, Kyo's theme song, also like Yuri's saxophone on this. So very well done music. The as far as the graphics when it comes to the character sprites and the backgrounds, I think with every game that Eolith has done, they've kind of gotten better and better. And 2002 is definitely one of their higher watermarks. There's more layers of parallax in the backgrounds. There's more movement and animation and life given to them. The sprites themselves are still very well animated, very well drawn. Again, harking back to the fact that all the developers, both with SNK, Brezza, and Eolith, have done amazing things considering how old the actual Neo Geo MVS slash AES board really is. So just amazing what they've done by just increasing the RAM card or meg size. And as we approach the gameplay department, thanks to the expanded roster for this being a dream match with a non canonical storyline, it definitely helps to really flesh out and balance the choice of characters and teams that you could create, especially once 2002 becomes the ultimate match in the later on in the series, which of course now you can still pick up on the Sony, Xbox, and of course Steam slash Windows. Unfortunately, not available for the Switch in the Ultimate Match version. A lot of the extra characters are very well balanced. The nice gameplay changes, like the Ultra Super Desperation moves that do even more damage, definitely quite adds to the balance and the replayability of this game. And speaking of when it comes to value, now if you were to wanting to pick this up physically, and of course you can pick it up on the Neo Geo AES. Definitely, of course, recommend the physical Japanese version thanks to the bang for your buck when it comes to the quality of the type of game and cartridge that you'd be purchasing from Japan. That'd be my number one when it comes to the vanilla game itself. Now you can pick this up as well on the PlayStation 4 from either limited run games. Unfortunately, now the pre-orders are done, so you'll probably be paying some eBay or scalper prices when it comes to, of course, other collectors or limited edition version of these games versus just the standard game edition, which was on pre-order months ago. This can also be picked up by Pix and Love. Again, unfortunately, since the pre-orders are now closed, it's primarily going to be either scalper or eBay prices. Now, when it comes to digitally, you can of course pick it up on the Nintendo Switch eShop, but it will be the vanilla arcade game. So they won't have some of the extra characters, some of the extra stages, and things like that. However, if you were to pick it up on, say, Steam slash Windows, or on the Sony or Xbox, you will get the 2002 Ultimate Match version. And as I had mentioned in the intro of this overview, if you picked it up on PC, especially Steam, just recently, I believe it was either end of December or beginning of January, they actually updated out with rollback netcode. So for fighters everywhere, players everywhere, that is quite a boon. And also, this game does bring back Rugal again as the boss, and I absolutely hate Rugal as a boss. He's still definitely hard to beat. Um, though I look forward to doing a series later on for Capcom versus SNK, as he'll be a playable character in that series. And as this game is an ultimate match, I'm not going to go quite into the actual team rosters themselves, just because a lot of the team rosters have pretty much stayed the same in regards to the NES Saga series, and really the only new differences are the new team members that were brought back, like the Orochi team. Still a great game to pick up, both physically and digitally, especially digitally now on Steam with the rollback netcode. So everyone, thanks for watching. Upcoming will be the King of Fighters 2003.